Good evening and welcome once again to another program of Issues in the News, where we discuss the important events that would have taken place in our country over the past week or so. And as is the norm, we always have a full menu of issues to discuss. I want to begin by extending good evening greetings to all of our listeners and viewers who are joining us on television in Region 5, Mahaika to West Coast Berbice. Good evening to you and welcome once again to another program of Issues in the News. To those of you who are joining us in Region 6, firstly on the east bank of the Berbice River, you are joining us on television in Region 6 on the east bank of the Berbice River, New Amsterdam, Kanji, and all the way down the Quarantine Coast. Thank you very much for joining us and good evening. Good evening also to the folks who are joining us on Freedom Radio from Rob Street, Georgetown. Good evening and welcome to another program of Issues in the News. And last but not least, to the tens of thousands of you who are joining us on Facebook Live across the length and breadth of Guyana, the Caribbean, Europe, Asia, North America, and across the globe. Good evening and welcome to another program of Issues in the News. And as I said, I want this program to be as interactive as possible, so please press that share button on your phone, press that share button on your computer, press that share button on that whatever instrument you are viewing us on. Press that share button so that all your friends and all your followers and your fans can join us in this podcast. Please, we want the widest possible audience, so please press that share button to ensure that your friends, your family, your fans join us in tonight's discussion. Shami Sham, Bel Chris, Jit Singh, Devi Sukraj, Alim Baksh, Bansi Prasad, Mark Wilson, Richard Hunt, and so many hundreds, if not thousands of you are already logged on. Good evening and welcome to this program. Brad Bridgelal from Canada, Leela Leo, Rita Pala from Toronto, and so many of you. Please, thank you very much. Lloyd, David, Sally Jones, Rowena Lal, Nishad Sharma from Toronto. Nishad, good evening. Nazir Sultan, Linda Ganpat, Sobrian, and so many of you. Thank you very much. And please share the program and let me have your views as well, because one of the main purpose of interacting with you is so that we can have an engagement, we can have a conversation, you can raise issues here and I can address it in the best possible way that I can. So I want to begin by offering my deepest condolences to the family, to the relatives, to the loved ones, to the friends of Asasha Ramzan State Council, who died tragically at approximately 10 a.m. this morning. She is allegedly shot, or she was allegedly shot by her common law partner, who appeared to have shot himself subsequently. It's a horrible tragedy that occurred this morning. I went to the scene of the incident. It occurred at Bell West on the west bank of Demerara, in close proximity to that old clay brick factory. That was where the car was parked with the two young people dead in it. I was speechless for most of today. Asasha has worked with me from the time I assumed the post of Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs until her death today. She's a very young lawyer, bright, energetic, enthusiastic about her work, has a natural tendency to help people and to engage in public interactions, and as a result was one member of my staff who accompanied me in many, many of my public outreaches across the length and breadth of Guyana. Many of the persons, members of the public, citizens of Guyana, on the Quarantine Coast, on the west coast of Berbice, will remember her. West coast of Demerara, Essequibo, all the places where I have been assisting persons who have issues with land and land regularization. She heads that legal team, or at least she used to head that unit within the Attorney General chambers that conducted these engagements with me across Guyana. She obviously had a very bright future. She obviously has left, her death has left a tremendous void at the Attorney General chambers, and we sincerely and earnestly will miss her, and we empathize and we extend to her relatives and families our deepest condolences. I don't know what else to say. This is a young lady who was full of life, full of vigor, full of energy, full of enthusiasm. She headed another unit in the ministry that dealt with all cultural events. She planned all the social activities, all the Rangila and all the Diwali celebration, Pagwa celebration, Eid, Christmas, Mashramani, Easter. She was central in the organizing of the ministry's activities in respect of those national and religious events. That was the kind of electrifying personality that she had. And I know that I will miss her, as she was much more than a lawyer, because she assisted me with a lot of public and political duties. She was much more than a lawyer to me in the work that I do outside of the legal arena in the ministry. We also do some degree of political work, and she assisted me ably in the discharge of those functions and did so with excellence. In fact, we were planning another outreach to go to West Coast Berbice to distribute some transports for persons who we are helping. We completed the exercise, started a few months ago, and we were planning to go and deliver those transports to those people as a Christmas gift, because it's about 50 families. And only yesterday or the day before, I spoke to Asasha to ensure that we get all the preparations done. And that's what she was working on when this tragedy occurred. So from every conceivable perspective, she will be missed by me and the staff of the Ministry of Legal Affairs, and we offer her family and her relatives our deepest condolences. But that's life. Life goes on. It's a horrible, as I said, a horrible, horrible tragedy. And perhaps later on, when the event sinks in, I would be able to say something more, but I really don't have much to say at this point in time other than to express my deepest condolences and sympathy. I'm still, and the other staff members of the ministry are still in a state of shock because, I mean, she was in communication with the staff of the ministry as of 9 o'clock this morning. And then at 10 o'clock, she's dead. That is the state of shock that we are in. She was in communication with her colleagues at about 9 this morning. She spoke to persons from other agencies that we are working with at about 9:30 on the phone. And then at 10 a.m., or just after 10 a.m., we got this call to say that she's dead. So, anyhow, we are dealing with that. And I just thought that I'll spend a few moments on this program in extending condolences on her tragic passing. So I'm reading your comments and I'm hoping that I can get some material to work with because today my thoughts are not together as they normally are and as they normally would have been because I spent most of the day at the scene of this horrendous tragedy at Bell West on the west coast, on the west bank of Demerara. Today, our government signed a very important contract, and it is a contract in relation to the Gas to Shore project. Today we signed one component of the contract, the engineering, procurement, and construction component of the contract for the production of natural gas and the conversion of that natural gas into energy. This is one of the signal developments or developmental projects for our country. It's one of the largest investments being made in the entire Caribbean. This project has several phases or several components. Today we have signed one of the contracts, one of many contracts constituting or in relation to the different components of this mega project. And so as we promised, we are in the transformational mode of our country, and this is one of the projects that will be leading that transformational drive. As we have often said, one of the major challenges facing Guyana is the cost of energy. And this project, once it comes on board, is expected to bring down the cost of energy significantly. And once we are able to bring down the cost of energy significantly, we will be able to galvanize our manufacturing sector, our agro-processing sector, and that is where the true potential of our country lies. In our agro sector, we will be able to move from cottage industry, from primary production into agro-processing, and of course into manufacturing at a full and proper scale. And that, my friend, is what will transform our country, and that is our focus. This project will utilize the natural gas that is currently being wasted and being flared. We'll bring that in and convert that into energy, which we will convert into electricity and also other forms of gas. So this is a major step towards the accomplishment of this project. And I'm happy today that we have signed on. As I said, this project is a mega project. It has many, many components. This is one component. We have the pipeline issue to deal with. Then we have the license to operate and the license to produce the natural gas. Then you have to bring it in, and then the manufacturing, etc. So this is one component. So we are one step closer to the achievement of this major project and the realization of this major project. So I thought that I'll just mention that as we continue on the program. There is an incident which occurred apparently late last night, which is very disturbing. It has to do, or it involves, first of all, statements made by the mayor of Georgetown, Mr. Yubraj Narain, and it also involves the conduct of the mayor and city council. So, first of all, let me deal with the statements that were made. And I wish to condemn in the strongest possible form certain statements made by Mayor Yubraj Narain directed to His Excellency the President and the government of Guyana. He accused the President and he accused the government of Guyana of racism, of religious intolerance, of propagating one religion over another, of ethnic divisions, and allegations of that type. First of all, these are baseless allegations. The attack on the president and the attack on the government of Guyana were completely without factual foundation, and they were wholly unwarranted. These are dangerous. These are highly antagonistic statements to make. These are sacrilegious statements. They are divisive statements, and they are statements that will only excite racial hostilities and religious animosities in our country. They must therefore be rejected, and those who make them must be condemned in the strongest possible fashion. As I said, they are completely without basis. We live in a multi-religious, multi-ethnic, multicultural society. Our people live in harmony. We have religious freedoms, cultural freedoms, other forms of freedoms of expressions guaranteed and protected by our Constitution as fundamental rights and freedoms. We have religious tolerance of a commendable degree in this country. We would have celebrated Diwali just last month, and this month we will be celebrating Christmas, Boxing Day, and New Year's Day. The following month in January or February, we will be celebrating Shivratri. Then we are going into Eid, then Easter, Phagwa, and all of these festivities emanate from different cultures. They have different ethnic underpinnings, but they are all Guyanese national religious festivals. They are celebrated by all Guyanese. They are respected by all Guyanese. And that have been our culture. That has been our heritage. That has been our way of life in Guyana. We may have had racial problems which are exacerbated by politicians, but we have never had religious bigotry. And what the mayor is doing is stoking a religious strife. And we will not tolerate that. It's wrong. It goes against our constitutional rights and freedoms, and it is a criminal offense. We condemn it, and hopefully the police will look at the file, carry out the investigations, seek the relevant legal advice, and be guided and advised accordingly. This is not the type of behavior, this is not the type of utterances, this is not the type of reckless publications which we are prepared to tolerate in a democratic society like ours. It is my duty as Attorney General to condemn such hate speech or hate speeches in the strongest possible terms, as I do now. They have no place. They have no place in a democratic, multicultural, multi-religious society, and they have no place in the united and cohesive Guyana which we are seeking to build as a government and as a people. That's the first thing that I want to say in relation to what the mayor has said. Secondly, it relates to why this incident arose in the first place that caused him or presented the platform for him to make the statements. I am the Attorney General of Guyana, and I have a responsibility to advise the government of Guyana on matters of law and public order. Unlawful encumbering of public roadways, public streetways, public pathways, and public parapets is a serious problem in our country. First of all, it is a criminal act to encumber public roadways, public streets, public pathways, and parapets. The Mayor and City Council is one of the agencies within the state apparatus that has a duty to clear public streets, to clear public pathways, to clear public parapets, and to clear public roadways of these encumbrances. It is their duty to clear them. We have a mayor and city council who are apparently authorizing these criminal illegalities across the city. In fact, some persons will produce receipts to show that they are paying to encumber public roadways, public streets, and parapets. These encumbrances, as I said, they are unlawful. They create traffic hazards. They jeopardize public safety and the safety of road users, because persons have to come out and walk in the pathway of active traffic, because these encumbrances are on the parapets and on the roadways and on the streets. So both pedestrians, cyclists, and motor vehicle drivers have to dodge them and expose themselves to all type of dangers. People lose their lives, people lose their limbs, and people lose their property every day because of these illegal encumbrances. That's one. Two, they block the egress and ingress of public facilities as well as private residences and businesses. Thousands of residents of Georgetown and elsewhere in the country where these encumbrances are prevented from accessing their residence because of these encumbrances. Businesses, their patrons are impeded from accessing their businesses by these encumbrances. Public facilities, users of these facilities are prevented or are prohibited or are affected by accessing or from accessing these public facilities, including, as it happened last night, public health facilities. So around the public hospital, Georgetown, are a number of food carts, vans, caravans, and all sorts of encumbrances on the pavement, affecting sick people who need urgent medical care from getting ready access to the public hospital. Again, exposing people to death and unnecessary risks, medical risks. That's two. Three, businesses across this town, across the city, who are paying lawful taxes, their businesses are affected by these encumbrances that are located right in front of their businesses, and sometimes selling the very thing that the businesses are selling. So rather than go into the businesses, the consumer shops on the pavement and patronizes the illegal encumbrances on these pavements. Is that fair to the business people who are paying their taxes? And mind you, 99% of these who are operating these encumbrances are not paying any taxes to anyone. Fourthly or fifthly, when they finish their business or during the course of their business, they litter and they throw garbage all across the place where they are operating. They surround themselves with garbage. When they finish their operation, they do not clean the area that they have used. They pack up their materials and roll them up in a corner and leave it right there at some corner of the public road or the public pathway or public parapet. In the result, they contribute significantly to the nastiness of the city. Nobody will dispute that Georgetown has a garbage problem. It's a nasty city when you compare it with other parts of the world. And this here is one of the reasons why Georgetown is one of the most unsightly capital in the world. And this is one of the reasons why we have to take a position as a people. Do we want to live in a country that looks like a shanty town? Do we want to live in a country that looks like garbage? Or do we want a clean environment, an orderly city, an orderly country? Well, our government is committed to creating public order and to ensure that the public roadways, streetways, parapets are not blocked with these illegal encumbrances. Now, I understand that some will come and say, but people have to live. And I agree. Everyone, I would not want, and our government will not want to deny anyone a livelihood. But my friends, all over the world, people have to live. But you have to live in accordance with law. You have to live in an orderly manner. You have to earn a living in a manner that is not antisocial to others. You can't want to earn a living, and in your earning a living, you're exposing others to the perils of physical harm, damage, and garbage. Civilization is not like that. So our government will take a strong position on this matter. And it's not only Georgetown, it will be replicated across the length and breadth of Guyana. It is the only way that we can bring public order to this country. It is the only way that we can clean this country. Which other country in the world you see the president and the prime minister and the attorney general and ministers of government have to go and pick up garbage in the street? Which part of the world do you ever see that happening? Is that fair to me? Sunday morning, rather than stay home with my family, I have to go and pick up garbage on the road, put there by people who are vending? That's why I became a minister. When I was not a minister, I didn't have to pick up garbage. Now that I became an Attorney General of Guyana, I have to leave the luxury and comfort of my home Sunday to go pick up garbage thrown there by persons who are selling illegally, and that the mayor and city council are permitting to do that. And when the government speaks, you brats go in and lie down on that truck. Unfortunately, I was not there. The APNU AFC obviously sees a political opportunity, so they run now to represent those who are violating the law and blocking our roadways and trespassing. That's all they can do. Nothing that is constructive, Nothing that is developmental, nothing that will improve the welfare of the people and the society at large, they support. Anything that will bring anarchy, anything that will bring public disorder, anything that will cause chaos, anything that will cause confusion, they support. You think they have the interest of those vendors? I heard them beating their chests, saying that they're championing the cause of the vendors. It's not about championing the cause of the vendors. Let them go take the vendors to sell at Congress Place then, if they want to champion the cause. Let Norton take home the vendors and sell in front of his house in Plaisance. They were imposing the most draconian parking meter system on the city of Georgetown. They would have bankrupted the entire Georgetown and half of Guyana using Georgetown by that parking meter machine that they were going to install. We mustn't forget these things. Now they come shedding crocodile tears. They come with their hypocrisy and duplicity about representing the interest of vendors. That the people got to earn a living. Nobody wants to deny anyone from earning a living. Would we tolerate them to go and sell middle of the Demerara Harbour Bridge because they got to earn a living? So, this is a country that we have to manage. And it is the responsibility of all of us as citizens to cooperate with the government in bringing public order. It may be our relatives, it may be your children who one day, God forbid, will not be able to get into the hospital in time because somebody blocked the hospital entrance. Because of a food truck at the side of the road, there's a traffic jam. Or somebody swerve from some pavement vendor and hits your school child. Everyone is exposed to the perils and dangers that this unlawful vending and unlawful encumbering of public spaces are causing. And every person must be responsible and reasonable. So, my friends, it is something that we have to take a hands-on approach in respect of. And the central government is prepared to do that because the city council is neglecting their responsibilities in that regard. In fact, they are encouraging the lawlessness. So rather than support central government in its efforts or work with central government to restore law and order in the city, you have a mayor who joins hands with the miscreants and makes himself a public spectacle and a disgrace. That will not be tolerated under our government. It will not be tolerated. And the government will use all the legal means available to bring public order and restore public order in the city. That's all. And we don't have a choice. It's our statutory obligation. It's our duty to the country. So I thought that I will express some views on the Yubraj matter, not only in relation to the statements that he made, but in relation to the issues that gave rise to him making those unwarranted and baseless allegations. So I am looking at, again, I'm looking at your comments, and thank you for the contribution that you are making on the comments. I'm reading them. And please ensure, again, that you share the program so that your friends and your fans and your followers can join in the discussion. Somebody is asking about, see, the person said, dirtiest city I've ever seen. That's the comments coming up. We want to continue living in this kind of dirt? We want to continue to live in this kind of unhygienic society? I don't understand. On what level would you want to justify the encumbrances taking place? You can't drive properly in the night. Food selling all over, food box scattered, music playing loudly, people drinking on the side of the road, they're pissing on the side of the road. What kind of society is this? Why? Because people got permission to sell all kinds of foolishness on the pavement. We can't continue. If we want people to take us seriously as a country, branded hotels are coming here. Investors are coming here by the droves. Do you know what impression they get when they see the level of nastiness around this country? You ever think about that? What they think of us as human beings, as people? And we are, rather than clean it, we are fighting to keep it there. It's incomprehensible. Absolutely incomprehensible. So, we will have to take the bull by the horn. It may not be a popular thing, but somebody got to do it. Somebody has to bell the cat. And if it is that our government has to do it, then we're going to do it in the most humane way. But the lawlessness can't be allowed to continue. The other important issue that I want to speak about is local government elections. Now, it must be clear in the minds of every sensible Guyanese and foreigner observing politics in Guyana that the APNU AFC is mortally fearful of local government elections. The PNC is in utter shambles, and the coalition is now disengaging. The AFC, other than the parliamentarians, I don't think they have any members anymore. So they are a grouping that I don't believe number more than 20 total. So that's not a party. They are not a political party anymore. They are a grouping of individuals who are in the parliament. And the PNC is totally in shambles. And there's no other coalition partner. The WPA I don't know where they are, and there is no other person in the coalition. So there's no coalition anymore after December. It's a disorganized, weak PNC and another grouping called the AFC, who have a total about 20 persons. So, and they are not organized, they are unable to mobilize. I suspect that they have no money whatsoever. And the people are beginning or have begun to realize that they are a visionless, incompetent grouping who can't even represent them in the parliament or anywhere else. And this incompetence is becoming self-evident. So they can't inspire anybody anymore. They don't have any mass ability to pull or any ability to pull any crowd anywhere. So in that state of decay, they don't want to go to local government elections. Because if they go to local government elections, they know that they would be properly trashed, completely whipped. And they know that. And that will do greater damage to them for the national elections. Because it will send a clear and present signal to their supporters and the international community that this degenerate group are degenerating, or these degenerate groups are degenerating even further. So Ramjatan concoct a reason saying that he's not going to the local government elections because of some list. Up to now, he doesn't even understand the issue with the list. So he's not going ahead because the list, according to him, needs to be cleaned. We have explained, and even the APNU have accepted, that only constitutional reform can address their issue. Not that there is anything unclean about the list, but whatever problems they have with the list, I believe they have now accepted that it has to be addressed by constitutional reform. Ramjatan doesn't care to even reach that stage. Ramjatan holds on to the nonsensical argument that the list is unclean and needs to be cleansed. So he repeating that whether it makes sense or not. So that's what he's parroting as the basis for not going to the local government elections. Which seat in Guyana you think Ramjatan and the AFC can contest? You tell me. Which seat, when I say seat, I don't mean local authority area. I mean which seat within the area. You think Ramjatan can contest Campbellville where he lives? Or Patterson can contest Lamaha Gardens where he lives? Or Catiyus can contest New Providence where she lives? And perform creditably? You think Ramjatan can go to 47 and win any other than perhaps his mother voting for him? They can't get votes anywhere. They can't get votes anywhere. The PNC is fastly getting into that position. Of course, they will do a little better because they have more support than Ramjatan. Ramjatan is comatose. He is in a state of coma from which they will never recover. This one here, the APNU, is on its way there, but they still have some distance to travel. But they don't want to go to the elections either. So the first issue they raised was the list. They were completely beaten publicly on this issue. So they have, remember the bloated list and how many letters we had to write, until we get them to understand that not because a person is overseas, that his name on the list constitutes a bloat. They finally have accepted that. So that we have removed from them now. So they have to find another reason now. They have a list, they have a problem with the list that GCOM has published to go to the elections. They said the list is wrong now. The constituency list, they're saying, is wrong, and that the list was not properly extracted, and that the list should go to another claims and objection cycle. This is the new argument. This is not a bloated list argument anymore. There's a new argument now that the local government list now got problems. That they wanted, they say it's wrongly extracted. They say that they want another cycle of claims and objection to be done. We said, okay, GCOM, do what is it that they're asking for. Go get the list done, or do back the list, do another claims and objection. We don't mind the election postponing by 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever it is that will take to accomplish. So we said go ahead. Tell the GCOM, we're not opposing what they're saying. Let's just get it over with, do whatever it is that they want to be done, and let's go to the elections. When we said that now, today they're raising another set of objections now. They now have a problem with boundaries now. They said the minister has no power to demarcate boundaries. My friends, permit me to say that, as I have always said, the electoral process are in the law books. They are in the statute books. It's a step-by-step process. The power to divide Guyana is a power that lies with the Minister of Local Government. Whether you want to divide Guyana into villages, into regions, into people cooperative units, into constituencies, into local democratic areas, into municipalities, into local democratic organs, whatever characterization, the power to divide the country into these various configurations I have outlined is a power that is resided with the Minister of Local Government. The power now to adjust electoral divisions to suit the physical demarcation made by the minister for the purpose of any election is the Elections Commission. Let me repeat that. The division of Guyana into any demarcation, whether you want to call it a region, a village council, a local authority area, a municipality, or a constituency, that power of division is that of the minister. For the purpose of an election now, the power to do election things lies with the Election Commission. The country has electoral divisions. Obviously, the power to adjust those electoral divisions to bring them into the physical demarcation of the minister is that of GCOM. They want GCOM to divide the country into constituency. They want GCOM to form constituencies. The minister carves out a place and said, this shall be the constituency. GCOM now got to adjust the election division to form that into a constituency. That simple principle they cannot understand. So they are now holding on to their life, that Minister Dharamlal doesn't have powers to adjust boundaries. There is nobody who got the power other than the minister. And we maintain that most resolutely. So they filed one action in relation to the list issues that I spoke about earlier. Now, after we agreed through our commissioners at GCOM that, you know what, let GCOM do whatever it is that they're asking. They want a new claims and objection, okay. They want another list, okay. We're conceding. Let's go ahead so we can get the elections done. So that would have taken care of their legal action that they filed. Today, when they realize that those legal issues now would be rendered moot, would be evaporated, they now come with a new issue now. And that is the question of ministers don't have the power to demarcate boundaries. This is there's another attempt at stalling. They don't want the local government elections. So they will come with all kind of shenaniganism, all type of and all manner of foolish arguments to detain and delay the Guyana Elections Commission. I am calling on the Guyana Elections Commission to proceed to hold local government elections that are lawfully due under the laws of Guyana. As Attorney General, I have no other choice. These are elections that are due under the laws. GCOM has a duty to hold elections in accordance with the time stipulated by law, unless Parliament extends that time. Parliament has not granted any such extension. GCOM therefore is obliged by law to proceed as quickly as possible to hold these local government elections. So I hope that I have clarified for you, the viewers, and I hope that the press is watching the program and they are following also. And it's Vincent Alexander who in the main is leading the arguments. He is the chief distortionist of legal issues. He is the one who profusely was writing in his attempt to mislead on the bloated list matter. And I took him on. And I wrote and I responded until the matter concluded. I may have to take him on the boundary issue as well. But that is the type of opposition party that we have in this country. They don't go to the parliament, and if they go, they don't make any constructive contribution. And I have spoken about that at length, and you have seen it for yourself. You have seen it because Parliament, fortunately, is streamed live. Well, that, what you see there, characterizes their every output in politics. At the Public Accounts Committee, they don't want to they don't want to analyze the years that they are in government. So the Public Accounts Committee ought to, in a chronological order, examine the accounts of the country done by the Auditor General for years in chronological order. They want to skip 2018 and 2019, and they want to come to 2020, the year that the PPP got into government. They have to do the thing year by year. Why you want to skip the 2 years to get to the PPP? We will get there. We are in government. And we are going to be in government for a very, very long time. And you will be in the Public Accounts Committee for a very long time. So you'll have a lot of time to analyze accounts of the Auditor General. But follow the order, complete 2018 and 2019 and the first half of 2020. When, mind you, the country had no parliamentary oversight. Because after the 2018, after December 21st or December 22nd, 2018, their government was toppled by a no confidence motion. And there was no parliamentary sitting for the entire 2019. So we don't know how monies were spent for 2019. There was no budgetary allocation. There was no appropriation process done. And they don't want the Public Accounts Committee to go through these years. They want to skip these years and come to 2020. No, we are not going to do that. It will not be done. We have to go through year by year. That is your duty as the Public Accounts Committee. And we have to bring all those persons who were in the government then to account for the expenditure of money that were spent and how it is that they were spent without a budget and without parliamentary approval. They want to skip those 2 years because more charges might come. I see them making a lot of noise about Carol Joseph, but I read in the newspapers, this lady took millions of dollars as a director of a company without the approval of the board and without the approval of any other director, and spent it not on company's business, but converted it to her own use. Well, we must not enforce the laws of this country. $6 or more million she took from the people's a company without the board of directors' approval. That's embezzlement. That's fraudulent conversion. At least that's the charge. If I'm to go by the newspaper reports. I am hearing about witch hunting. Witch hunting who? Carol Joseph? Is Carol Joseph even worth witch hunting? Let's assume that we want to witch hunt anybody. So my friend, whenever we enforce the laws, we are accused of racial discrimination. And we are not enforcing the law. The law enforcement agency is enforcing the law. We don't direct the police what to do. Silal Prasad said in his book that Basil Williams used to direct him all the time. And that the Soku head, Sidney James, used to complain to him, Silal Prasad as commissioner, that Basil Williams used to direct him. And when they complained to Ramjatan as Minister of Home Affairs turned a blind eye. Silal Prasad wrote that in his book. Let any police commissioner say whether they receive directions, or let Soku say whether they receive directions, ever receive direction under this government. The other day when Soku was involved in an incident with the lawyer Tamika Clark, I advised, I didn't instruct. I saw one uninformed, misinformed lawyer accusing me of interfering and instructing the police. Me? I advised. Because I have to defend that as I'm defending it now in the court. It can be that I must defend something, but I can't advise against it. Something got to be wrong with that system that makes me the defender, ex post facto the commission of the act, but prevents me from interfacing to stop an alleged wrong from taking place. My role is only activated when the wrong has been committed. I don't subscribe to that type of foolishness at all. If they understand the law to be that, that's a matter for them. That's not how I see it at all. So, my friends, we are quickly coming to program time. I'm reading your comments and I have answered most of the issues that you have raised. I am happy that you have raised the issues that I am seeing here are most of the issues that I have addressed. So thank you very much for joining me in this hour. I believe that we have covered some important issues and we are nearing the Christmas season, but I think that we will speak again before that time. So I want to thank you very much once again for being part of this program, and until I see you next week, thank you, take care, and may God bless you. And remember one more time, you can share the program even after it has been concluded so that more and more people will join us in the discussion even after it is concluded. But more importantly, encourage them to join us next week as we continue to discuss the important issues in the news in Guyana. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you.